Hello, it's Feathered Lamb and happy 2024. Now that a week has passed, the confetti has settled, and we're returning to everyday life, let's talk about the elephant in almost everyone's room: resolutions. There's a lot to be said for the man made expectations with the turn of the new year, and in a way, I understand. It gives us the perfect excuse of a seemingly blank slate. In reality is a time frame, one that we have established a start and an end to, and this gives us the idea that it's a perfect time to make resolutions. What is a resolution? To determine to do something. New year, new things, right? This concept, however, isn't new. According to an article in History by Sarah Pruitt, quote, "The ancient Babylonians are said to have been the first people to make New Year's resolutions, some 4,000 years ago," end quote. Of course, with the years, celebrations and resolutions have changed with the times, but the core concept remains. All this to say that New Year resolutions are a common trope that we buy into with fervor and crash just as spectacularly. But why do we fail, and are there any tips to help succeed? I'm not an expert, first and foremost. I'm just another human lost in a floating rock. With that in mind, I'm going to speak with knowledge that comes from experience and observation, and hopefully anything I say might be of help. Let's talk about some of the reasons I've noticed resolutions fail and how we can try to tackle this. 1. The resolution we write into 1 or 2 words are actually much more extensive. For example, what we call traveling is not tickets magically falling into our laps. It's actually saving money, thinking of where we'll go, where will we stay, where will we go when we're there, where will we eat, is it a solo trip or are other people involved, do we need papers to go there? The resolution isn't traveling, it's everything else that comes before the actual traveling can even happen. It's a million little steps that have to be carefully thought and planned out. And if we don't take the time to do any of these steps, traveling will not occur. So my best advice is to make midpoint resolutions. What I mean by this is that we write down traveling in our list instead of save money for travel or plan out a good itinerary for travel. When we put onto ourselves right at the start of the year, before life can get in the way, this big goal, suddenly days start to pass and we get overwhelmed with how little the resolutions seem to approach us. Maybe the resolution should be to prepare everything in 2024 so you can travel stress-free in 2025. 2. Too many resolutions, especially when they are big goals. From what I've noticed, resolutions really shouldn't exceed 3 for many people, and even that, I think it's pushing it. Like I said, some resolutions are easy to write in 1 or 2 words, but the reality is much larger than that. So if one of your resolutions is, in fact, traveling, maybe don't add another that is just as complex. 3. We don't take into account that we are not new. The last digit of the year went up, but that's all that's different in the grand scheme of things. The lack of self-reflection and self-awareness ends up hurting us. We make these lists and these dreamlike goals and we don't consider who we are at that moment. Some things we want to do are not ingrained in our personalities, in our lives, in our hobbies, and those things have to be changed or modified first. Other things are not ours to take, but an echo of the people around us and the social media we consume. My ultimate advice is to remind you that the season hasn't changed. We're in the middle of winter. Even as we trash the previous calendar for a new one, winter doesn't end for a few more months. Some of us live in places that see cold and rain and snow. Seasonal depression is truly no laughing matter, and opportunities for things to close down from storm or blizzard is also a big factor to consider. I think we should do as nature does and rest, reflect, and catch our bearings to bloom in full force when Earth begins to wake as well. Allow yourself the grace to remain seated, at least until the world starts gaining a little bit more color. The best thing you can do for yourself is to reflect on yourself at the start of the new year and truly ponder about your life, your goals, and leave all those resolutions for later when you have much more answers than questions and blind aspirations. Don't forget to make resolutions that resonate with the you who is alive now. Don't allow yourself to be swept up by all this euphoric motivation and energy. They will mellow out as you check another January day off. Think of yourself like a firework. Explosive, colorful, and incredibly momentary. We are not the dreamt version of ourselves that lives rent-free inside our heads. We are not that person that has their life together all the time and ready to live their best movie-like 2024 experience as though it was a reel on Instagram. Be realistic, be reflective, and reach for the achievable. With the knowledge that resolutions have been a thing for 4,000 years at least, I think it's safe to say that it's a tradition at this point. But some traditions don't have to be upheld 100% if they're just there to cause you stress at the turn of each year. So, do I have resolutions for 2024? No. But I do think of things that I want to do in general. Some I can do now, and others I think I'll wait for the earth to begin to thaw. So what are some things I want to do? Most of them, honestly, are just things I want to keep doing or do more of. First, I've been making YouTube videos for a few months, since March of 2023, one video a month. The plan for the new year is simply to continue doing so. Second, I want to create more original art. A lot of things stopped me from doing that in 2023, and one of them was trying to feed the endless black hole that is the stomach of social media algorithms. I wanted to be consistent and present, and the only way was to do a lot of art studies and draw these in your styles. Artwork that didn't include so much thought and planning like an original illustration does. In order to get me a little ahead, I've written all my art ideas down on my Notion page, and I've done a few Pinterest boards for some already. Third, I want to read more. I'm a reader and an author. 2023 was a little devoid of both, though reading is the one that took the hardest hit. To help with that, I have a few physical books, a few digital books, and my next read is taking up space on my desk, so I can see the book there every day. I've already read 4 chapters. In case anyone is the littlest bit curious, it's The Muse by Jessie Burton. If you've made it this far, let's talk a little bit about this illustration. It is the last painting of 2023 and the first to be revealed to the world in 2024. It was made specifically to welcome the new year, and it's of my persona, which you might have recognized from my previous profile picture, which had the same hairstyle. While there are fireworks in the back, I wanted something closer and more personable, so I chose 4 pointed shaped stars as confetti instead. It's meant to simulate that there's a gathering celebrating this occasion off canvas in front of the character, while also allowing a sense of nostalgia and melancholia as you only see her in the frame with a relatively darker background. But regardless, she is in the light. I hope anything that I've said was helpful, serves as a new perspective, or just tips to implement when you're thinking about your resolutions. Thank you for tuning in. Click on the white subscribe button down below. You will know when you are subscribed when it turns from white to gray. Have a magical day.